You're not going to believe this. US just became the #1 country to study abroad for international students, especially for Indians. And I'm going to give you the exact logic behind this. See, until now, the biggest problem with the US was that you go over there, we know that they have some of the highest paying jobs, it's great, but then there's no guarantee of PR. In fact, there's no guarantee of getting a good return on investment itself. You know why? Because after you study in the US, you rely on something called as OPT and STEM OPT, and then you basically have your post-study work permit, which is OPT, STEM OPT. You continue working till you find your H1B, right? And getting an H1B is not easy until now because you require sponsorship from an employer, and the employer may or may not give it to you. It is up to them. In fact, even if the employer wants to sponsor you for the H1B, it's a lottery. So your return on investment can be very low if in those 3 attempts that you get to get the H1B, you do not get picked in the lottery, and it can be very high if you get picked in one of those 3 attempts for the lottery. Now, until now, 3, 4, 500,000 people apply for the lottery, and only about 85,000 slots are available for the H1B holders. Like, basically, you need to be one of those 85,000 people out of those 500,000. So it's a lottery. There's no guaranteed mechanism that shows you that your chances will be higher or lower. This was the case till now, though. However, the tables have been turned now. First, companies now have to pay $100,000 if they want to sponsor an employee who's not already in the US on a valid visa status. So let's say Infosys wants to hire someone from India, they want to bring them to the US. What happens is that now they will have to pay the government $100,000 just to hire that employee from India directly into the US. However, now as per the latest rule, if you are a student who's already in the US, what then? Well, in that case, the employer can hire you without paying that $100,000 of fee to the government, which basically means you somehow as an international student are now starting to get priority. So if you're on any kind of a visa like F1, H4, even dependent of H1B, you guys have now priority and you will be able to get H1B sponsorship and get through easily. And you know why? Because for the companies, you are literally $100,000 cheaper as a resource who's already in the US. On the other hand, people outside of the US will find it almost impossible as of today to get this sponsorship, because hardly any company will pay $100,000 on top of a very high salary to you, to the government itself essentially, just to be able to get you into the country. And even then, you don't know, it's a lottery, right? That basically means, remember how there were 3, 4, 500,000 people applying for the H1B and only 85,000 slots? Well, what do you think is going to happen this time? Do you think 500,000 people will apply? Absolutely not, because they know that sponsoring people outside of the country does not make sense whatsoever. Why spend the money, time, effort into this? Why even give the preliminary filing fee for those people when you know that you're not going to pay that $100,000 to the government for them later on, even if they get selected? So basically, what I'm saying is that right now, the scales seem to have shifted in your favors. If you're an international student, this is one of the best times to go to the US. This rule right now is only here for 1 year, by the way, the H1B $100,000 fee. But there's a good chance they extend it. And they have mentioned that they might extend it, they might not. So let's see how it goes. But as of today, US is one of the #1 destinations to go overseas. It sends a clear message that we want people who have invested in the country, people who are studying in the US right now, or people who are on a valid visa in the US right now to be able to get that sponsorship, right? And I feel like that's only fair, because you guys do deserve an edge. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars just to go into the US and study. At least you should get this edge that, you should be able to get the H1B easier. But this doesn't just stop here. Because of the H1B, you will be able to get PR as well. There are pathways like EB1, which can help you get PR in less than 3 years in many cases for most of the people out there. And I'm giving away a free eligibility check, by the way. If you go on to YMGrad.com, send me your resume over there. You will see my chat box and let me know you want a free evaluation for US Green Card or EB1, that's the name of it. I'll be happy to let you know whether you qualify, whether you're close to it, what you need to do to qualify. All that information I'm giving you away for free. So make sure that you check that out as well. But share this with the people who need to know, because US has turned the table around. Things look a lot different than they did last year, with other countries putting caps, Canada telling you they don't want you over here, we want people who are already in there, we only want to work for them. Most countries like that. UK is putting higher and higher requirements on getting ILR. Australia is putting caps on the number of student visas. US has not done anything like that. So it seems like US is still one of the #1 options as of today, especially after this change. You can find me on Instagram, where I have a lot more content like this for you guys. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you like this video. You can connect with my team on WhatsApp. The number's in the description. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care.